What's up, guys? This is the Gospel According to Mark with a C. He is I, and I am he. Just taking some time to tell you exactly what's on my mind. Thank you for joining me once again, my friends. I hope all is well with you. Guys, Beverly Hills Cop Axel F dropped on Netflix. I had a chance to see it yesterday, so I'm going to share with you some of my non-spoiler thoughts on this. We're going to start with a little synopsis. It was directed by Mark Malloy. It was written by Will Beal, and it's the fourth installment in the Beverly Hills Cop film series. It's a direct sequel to Beverly Hills Cop 3. Eddie Murphy, who also produces, reprises his role as Axel Foley with Judge Reinhold, John Ashton, Paul Reiser, and Bronson Pinchot. Talk about reliving the 80s, reprising their roles from previous films in the franchise, while Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Taylor Page, and Kevin Bacon star in new roles. Now, Axel Foley has returned to Beverly Hills after his daughter Jane's and his old partner Billy Rosewood's lives are threatened. She and Axel team up with her ex-boyfriend Bobby Abbott and his old pals John Taggart and Serge to uncover a conspiracy. Okay. All right, so let's see. It just came out a couple of days ago. And look, here's the thing that I can say about this. It's probably one of the laziest movies I've seen in a long time. But listen, I believe there's a reason for that. But I just want to also say there's one of the reasons, right, is that Will Beal, who wrote this, also wrote Bad Boys Ride or Die. Bad Boys Ride or Die. And when you look at the two movies, because I've seen both of them, they're pretty much the same movie, you know? So I guess that explains why this one is lazy, because it's just basically rehashing the same story beats that you saw in that other movie. It's aging cops, and they're trying to piece together a case that one of them was working on that's no longer available to help out. So they gotta, like, you know, in one case, the guy is dead. In this case, I don't know, the guy might be dead. I'm not really going to get into the spoilers here, but it's basically the same thing. It's like the Will Smith character in Bad Boys is struggling to somehow have a relationship with his estranged son. In this one, you got Axel struggling to have a relationship with his estranged daughter. And, you know, it's the same story beats, number one. So it's lazy in that way. And also, it's such a nostalgia-heavy screenplay. Literally, they're rehashing all of the music from the original Beverly Hills Cop. It's like every single scene is, remember this song, remember this bit, remember that bit. And I can't be too hard on this because I kind of feel like Eddie Murphy knows what he's doing in this. I don't think this is by accident, in other words. You know, first of all, everyone in this movie is way too old to be doing what they're doing believably as cops. You know, you're not really going to find cops in their 60s running around this way. Like, the comedy is really not there in that way. You know, when John Ashton shows up, clearly he's well into his 70s. And although it's fun, look, it's fun to see everybody. See, that's what it is, right? Because it's nostalgic. That's the selling point. It's fun to see these people that you had a good time with. It's fun to see them again. You know, even down to the Bronson Pinchot character. Oh, I remember him. You know, but the funny thing about that is that if you're talking about something like 40 years later, then there should be also a ton of comedy in character development, like where they are today versus where they were back then. But as it is, these people are frozen in time. So even though they got millions more lines on their faces, they're still the exact same. And look, the core of a person should always be the same, but the sensibilities are the same. Like, you don't sense that there's any growth at all. Like, for example, 20 years ago, if you had seen me, I would have been an annoying liberal. That would have been me. You know, I would have been an SJW. That would have been me 20 years ago. Now, the comedy in somebody who knew me back then to come to me now would be like, oh my God, this dude is like conservative. He's like all types of stuff. You know, it's funny. What happened to that dude, you know? But at the core, I'm still the same person, but it's just fascinating to see a development of a person, you know, but you don't get that here. It's like everyone is frozen in time, listening to the same music, doing the same things. And, you know, I kind of get why that is. This is a comedy in 2024. It's damn near impossible to do a real comedy in 2024 if you're Eddie Murphy. Like, you can phone it in, you can have jokes written for you and all of that stuff, but Eddie is such a legendary comedian. He's such a huge comedic presence that it's interesting to watch him paint by the numbers here. It's like sometimes you can almost see in his face, he knows where the jokes are. You can sense that he's holding back. You know what I mean? Like he can't do. This is the guy who did what was it, Delirious and Raw, and this guy is like, hey, F word, hey, F word. You know what I mean? It's like this dude like went all the way to the edge. So when you see him now, I totally see in his face that he's still got that edge, but he reels it in. You know what I mean? So that's pretty interesting. Like I said, they play it very, very, very safe in that all they do is revisit the same old bits. Now, I can tell they probably had a lot of fun doing this. They probably had more fun filming it than we had watching it. So in that can be some appeal, just to see them get the gang back together, do a reunion movie. You know, there's some old friends of ours. Isn't that sweet? They're doing the same things again, you know, and it must have been a kick for them to do it. And I don't fault them, you know, for doing this. It's just that, why? You know what I mean? It's like we could have done without it. I mean, Eddie Murphy, you know, like I said, he's always fun to watch and everything. You know, his cast around him, his daughter, you know, she's pretty too, man. She's pretty enough. I don't know if she's the best actress though. You know, when you look at her, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, you know, he's pretty good. You know, he's serviceable in his role. You know, he does a great thing. It's fun to see Judge Reinhold again, and you know, like I said, he doesn't have any real character growth here, or John Ashton, but it's fun to see them. And I guess that's what the point of it is. It's just a nostalgia kick. It moves along. You know, they do what they do, man. It's like, it's nothing that you haven't seen before. You know, like I said, his daughter pretty much rakes him over the coals for not being involved in her life. And once again, that character development thing that I'm talking about, I'm not even sure why he wasn't in her life, you know, for all of these years. He's just doing the same old thing that he always does. He went back to his life that he had in Detroit, and he's just going about business as if no time has passed at all. And that's the reason why he's not in her life, because he refuses to acknowledge that time has passed, you know. So she's giving him a hard time about that for most of the movie. Nothing you haven't seen before. She learns how to cut him some slack. He learns, I guess, that's the best shot that you have at character development here. He learns that, okay, she's in her 30s. I guess I should be a father now. Maybe we can try again at 30-something years old. But I guess any port in a storm, if you're looking for character development, there it is. So Axel Foley is pretty much the only character who gets that. As far as the bad guys are concerned, Kevin Bacon is always reliable. That maybe that's a bit of a spoiler, but it's kind of not, because I mean, you see him when you first see him as a cop, but for gosh sake, man, it's Kevin Bacon. It's like you can see it coming a mile away what's about to happen there. But he is good. He's always good in his role. You know, he gets a little bit campy about it, but that's what I like about Kevin Bacon. He can go over the top and be fun. You know, he's kind of like a William Dafoe kind of character actor in that way, you know, when he puts on that hat. So, you know, that was pretty cool. There's really no stakes here. You don't believe for a minute that anybody is in any real danger. So you're just going to enjoy the ride, or you're not going to enjoy the ride. It's up to you. But either way, it's kind of like getting on a ride that you already know the twists and the turns. You know, it's your favorite ride. You might have seen Beverly Hills Cop back in the day. You love the movie. It's just going to do the same twists and turns, and, you know, and there it is. So if you have a lazy day and you just want to watch Eddie Murphy cut it up for a while because it's fun, remember Eddie Murphy, you know, this is probably one to watch. Now, you guys know my ratings. I'm talking about 4 flushes, all right? If something gets 4 flushes, it means that it was full of shit. If it gets 0 flushes, it means that it was a classic. Anything in between, therein lies my criticism. I will give this probably about, I'm going to give this about 3 flushes, because really, who needs it, guys? It is full of shit in that it doesn't do anything new. It's lazy. There's no character development. And the guy who wrote it basically is reheating what he did for Bad Boys Ride or Die. You know, I'm sorry, it just is. But there can be fun to be had, which is why I don't give it the full 4 flushes, because for somebody who, like I said, if you're just looking for something to watch on Netflix or something, there's a million better things for you to watch. But if you're just looking for a nostalgia trip, go on and check this out. All right, guys, so you can get in the comment section. Let me know how you felt about this movie. If you saw it, was I too hard on it? Was I not hard enough? You can like, you can share, you can subscribe. If you want to donate to the channel, of course, you can hit that super thanks feature below. All right, guys, thanks again. I'll catch you on the next one. This is The Gospel According to Mark with a C. Rock on.